Welcome everyone, this is Overlord Ashura and it's time for another Overlord's Corner. Today I'll be sharing my thoughts on a form of hacking that's been around since last gen, and this form of hacking is known as undubbing. Now, many of you may not know what this is, many of you may do. For those who don't know, I'll be glad to explain what an undub is. Now, undubbing, or rather the finished product, an undub, is when you take an already localized product and you reverse engineer its audio to its original state. Now, this is a process that for the most part has been used for video games, mostly for video games that were originally from Japan and were localized here in the States. Now that I got the pleasantries and formalities out of the way, I want you people to get your hard hats ready, because this is where I take a wrecking ball to this shit. What the fuck is the point of undubs? I've seen my fair share of fucking, of hacks in my day, but this has to be as useful as the fucking human appendix. Now, I can understand stuff like fan translations and cheat codes and then stuff like that. See, that's stuff that actually has a fucking purpose. But reversing the audio in a freaking video game does what again? Like what does that do for people? I mean, I really don't see the point of it. I mean, it's like, what's the point of going above and beyond and risk fucking up your game just because you want to hear it in its native language or whatever the fuck it is? Most people would do the normal thing and either import, or in most cases when it comes to the internet, pirate a Japanese copy of said video game. But no, these people want to go above and beyond, and they want to risk fucking up their game just to listen to their precious Japanese. Like, seriously, what the fuck? Now, I can understand that some games that get localized over here have terrible localization from time to time. I mean, case in point, the US port to Tales of Phantasia for the GBA. Yeah, it had some really shitty voice acting, if you can even call it that. I mean, Swallow Kick, Demon Fang, I did it, derp. But you know what I did? I simply just turned on the voices. I mean, I stopped playing the game after a while because the gameplay was just boring after a while. I mean, that game was pretty fucking dated. I don't even see what was the point of even remaking that. But whatever, that's not the point. Point is, it was a simple solution to a simple problem. But again, you're dealing with these people that want to sit there like, oh, I don't want to listen to it in a language that I understand, so I'm gonna go above and beyond to put it back in my precious moon speak because it's so important to me. Wah, cry more. Now, when someone is confronted about participating or liking an undub, the usual excuse they'll give you is that it has a more authentic feel, that it has more authenticity than the localized dub. Authenticity. Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people who usually use this word to defend shit like undubs really don't know what authentic means. Authentic is something that is trustworthy, something that is genuine. A undub is about as genuine and as trustworthy as a bad fan sub. Which is pretty sad when you think about it, because when comparing a fan sub to an undub, a fan sub has, to an extent, more credibility, because at least the people that are doing the fan subs, the subtitles, they're at least building from the ground up. They're using the original source material, a raw file of said anime show or the Japanese game that hasn't been translated, and they're building from that. They're translating it bit by bit. And the same cannot be said for an undub. While you are trying to match where the respective dialogues in the Japanese version are, as opposed to where the dialogue in the dub is, what is being spoken in the Japanese dialogue isn't always well, usually, well, definitely will not match what is being said in the already localized text. And while this may be the case with most, if not all, translations, there's a bigger difference here with an undub, since the what's being said in the text and what's being said in the original Japanese dialogue would be far greater, since the English localization text is translated in a certain way as opposed to a more direct translation. Well, at any rate, now you're probably wondering how many games over the past, I guess, past few years have been undubbed. Well, I'm over here looking at a list right now, and yeah, there's been quite a few games, all the way from PS2 to PS1, all the way to the PlayStation Portable, and even the DS has gotten a few undubs. And we have titles, many titles from ones that I'm not very familiar with, as far as the Dot Hack series, Artelinko, Arc the Lad, and stuff like that, to stuff like Star Ocean and the like. It's like, yeah, the list is pretty freaking big. But I'll go through the ones that I'm more familiar with the ones that I'm more familiar with. All right, I'm gonna go through the ones that are more commonly known to have an undub. First up on the chopping block would be Final Fantasy X. Yeah, I mean, me personally, I haven't played a Final Fantasy game past 9. I pretty much lost interest afterwards. And after I saw some game footage from 10 and just most of the stuff that was going on, I was like, yeah. And personally, I don't think an undub would really improve the experience for me anyway. It probably may have probably improved it for many others, but not for me. And then of course it's more what's the word I'm looking for here? It's more lackluster sequel also ended up getting an undub, and I'm looking at that like, yeah, I don't think an undub is gonna fix that game very much. Now, now Final Fantasy X-2. Final Fantasy X-2. It's one of those games that either you're gonna like it for its intricate gameplay mechanics, such as the whole dress spheres and whatnot, or you're gonna hate it because it just looks like typical J-pop cosplay faggotry. Take it for what it is. Let's see. Another one would be. Oh well. Look at this. Final Fantasy 12 ended up getting an undub. The game was more along the lines of hit or miss. My friend ended up playing a little bit of it. He kind of ended up just losing all focus on it afterwards. What's another one here? Oh wow. Radiata Stories ended up getting one. Now, personally, I thought this was probably the last good game to come out of Square Enix. I mean, and that's saying a lot considering the fact that that game could have used a lot more improvement. I mean, aside from the fact that you could only play as the main character, and there was the only customization you got was, I guess, towards that character. And of course, my pet peeve with it was the lack of multiplayer. I mean, you had a big ass party, up to 4 or 5 people, and it's only one player. Yeah, I don't think an undub is gonna fix that either. Personally, I thought the voice acting in the game was alright anyway. Anyway, moving on. Oh wow. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII ended up getting an undub. I'm just sitting there, just going. Eh. Look, to me, Final Fantasy VII started it, and it was okay. What the fuck was this piece of shit called? Advent Children ended it, and it ended it horribly. Oh, despite the fact that it was a good action flick, that was about it. And not that the fan base helped much either, but fan base ain't got nothing to do with the fact that that the series is generated into a piece of shit. But this is not what this is about. Moving on. Prinny, Can I Really Be a Hero ended up getting an undub also. No. You know, I'm gonna pretend I didn't even see that.